In this section we're going to look at how we can change the look of text and how we can format it, and we'll be working with the practice files in the Chapter 3 folder. For this first exercise we'll be working with the file Agenda A. Now you'll see here we've got a fairly basic, boring document here with just text, and it needs spicing up. It needs to be made more interesting. Now on the ribbon under the Home tab you'll see a Styles section. Now here we have various styles that can be applied to a document to change various aspects of it. Now if we want to change a specific item within the document, then we either need to have that item selected or we need to have the cursor on that item. We want to change the heading Building Association, so click anywhere in the word Building Association. Now in the Styles pane here we have some up and down arrows to show us the styles that are available, and we have an arrow that will bring down the list of all the available styles. And if you manually format text yourself, and we'll look at this in an upcoming segment, then you can also save your own styles as well. Now as you hover over these you'll see that the text will change to show you what that text would look like if you apply that style. This one here, called Title, is an excellent one to use, so we'll apply that. Let's say we now want to highlight this date and time and apply a style to that. So let's have a look for a date and time that's appropriate. Do we want it in bold? Do we want it in grey? Let's make it grey and italic because it's a different colour and it will stand out. And simply clicking that style will apply it to the document. We also have on the ribbon a Change Styles button next to these styles drop down that gives us even more options. We can choose a style set for the entire document, which will reformat the document depending on how we personally want it to look. And you can see that there are a great many here. Let's say we want this one, newsprint. So we'll click on that and that style is automatically applied to the entire document. There are other things we can do here as well. We can change the colour scheme of that style. We can change the default fonts in that style to make the text clearer to read or give it a certain look. And we can change the paragraph spacing. So there are a great many things that we can do here simply in changing the look and feel of a document. And remember, at any time if you're unhappy with a change that you've made, you can press the undo button in the the quick access toolbar, and we can go back to previous steps within that those changes. Now in the next segment we're going to look at applying themes to documents and how you can change them. Okay, now that we've looked at how we can quickly format text by applying styles, let's have a look at document themes, and we'll continue working with the Agenda A file from the previous segment that you can find in the Chapter 3 folder. Now, on the ribbon under the Page Layout tab, the very first option is one to give you themes. Now, this will drop down a menu of available themes that you can apply to your document, and you'll see that the whole document is changing underneath here, and they're all very different. They all have a very different look and feel. Now there are a great many themes that come by default with Word 2010, and down the bottom of this there are even more that are available from office.com online, and yet more that you can download from the www.office.com website. So let's have a look through some of these themes and let's find one that we really like. this Metro theme. Looks good, so we'll click on that, and we can see here that the this text has changed, the whole feel of the document has changed. You can choose a different theme. Let's say we want to make it a little bit more classic. Couture, this is an interesting theme. Again, it's changed all of the fonts, all the headers, and it's given it a completely different look and feel. There are other options here, similar to the ones we saw before, where we can change the colour scheme of this theme. This essential red seems rather pleasant. We can change the default fonts for the theme. Let's say we want to go with Office Classic here, where we have Arial for the Arial font for the headers, it's telling us, and Times New Roman for the text. There are also a great many here that you can see. Let's say we want to pick Metro here, Consolus for the headers, and the Corbel font for text, and we can see here again it's all changed. And there are also options here to be able to apply themes to any graphics or pictures that you have inserted in your documents. So there are a great many things that you can do here to again easily change the look and feel of your document. In the next segment we're going to have a look at how we can manually change the look of characters and text, and how we can really get proper control over them. Now that we've had a look at how we can apply styles and themes to a document to change its overall look, let's have a look at how we can get more control over changing the look of characters and words. Now for this exercise we'll be working with the orientation draft file, which is in the practice files in the chapter 3 folder. So there are several ways in which we can change the look and feel of text manually. One way to do it is to highlight text. Remember, you highlight text by clicking with your mouse and holding and dragging to select the text, then releasing the mouse. Now you'll see here a semi-transparent toolbar has appeared directly above the text that we've highlighted, and we can move over this toolbar and we have various options here for changing the text. We can change the font, and there are a great many here that come as standard. We can change the text size. We can make the font bigger or smaller. We can increase or decrease the indent. We can make it bold, italic, underline. We can change the highlight colour, which is the background colour of this text. We can change the font colour itself, or even apply a gradient to the text. And there is an awful lot here we can do. For instance, if I click bold, you'll see it changes there. If I click underline, you'll see it changes there. And if I click grow font, you'll see it changes. Let's make it the size it was before. So that's one way of being able to change formatting in a document, but you don't actually have to highlight the text all the time. Let's say we want to change individual words. Click in the word orientation, anywhere within that word. Now on the ribbon under the Home tab we have the font section here, and many of the tools that we've just seen are available here, including the ability to change the font if we want, and the font size here. There are additional font options here. We can make it all uppercase, capitalize each word. There's an option here to clear all the formatting, remove all the formatting. Bold, italics, underline, strike through. We can make it subscript or superscript text. And then there are some options here which we'll look at in a minute. But click on underline and you'll see that that whole word has been underlined. Click on it again to remove it. Click on bold to make it bold, and so on. Let's say we want to highlight the text in the project goals section. Well, let's drag and select to highlight this text. Now we don't want to use this toolbar, so we'll go straight up here. We want to make it all italic or not. We can even make it strike through if we want, and let's say we want to make it all uppercase, so we select uppercase, and you'll see there that has been done. And at any time, once you've selected something, if you're not happy with it, don't forget, in the Quick Access toolbar you have your undo and your redo buttons. Now let's have a look at something a bit more interesting. We'll highlight this text here on the header once again. Now, I talked about these 3 additional controls here. Let's have a look first at text effects for this header. This gives us a great many really dramatic text effects that we can apply to our document, and there's even more controls here. We can control the outline colour, we can control the shadow, we can control whether or not this text has a reflection, or whether or not this text has a glow. So let's say, for instance, we want to use this blue accent 1. You can see here that the text has changed, but there's more controls here. We can give it a reflection there, and we can give it a glow. Let's say we want to give it that glow there, and very quickly and very easily we have quite dramatically changed the look and feel of this text header. Now let's say we want to highlight the project goals. Indeed, we want to highlight either just the header or the whole section. We'll just do the header for this. So select this text, and here we can highlight it, and you'll see here that the background colour for project goals has changed to yellow. What we can also do is we can select a variety of different colours that we want to highlight it in, or we can select no colour and it will revert to normal. There are text colours here as well. If we want to change the familiarise employees words to make them bolder, this time we'll use this little font control pop-up, and we'll change the text colour, and we'll pick something that is dramatic. We'll make it a nice red. So there are plenty of things that you can do here to control your text. We'll even make it bold. There you go. So there are plenty of things you can do here to control your text manually to give you a great deal of control about it. Again, you've got this little arrow in the bottom of the font section to show the full font dialog box, where you have even more control here. You've got a complete list of all your fonts, font styles and sizes. This little preview box here will show you what it's going to look like with any particular style attached to it. There's an advanced tab where you have yet more control. You can scale it, you can adjust the spacing of it, and as I've said, there's a great deal you can do here. For instance, the spacing options on the ribbon will just give you the standard ones of 1 times, 1 1/4 times, 1 1/2 times, and so on. Here we can control it on a much more precise level, and have whatever control we want over this particular text. So that's how we can manually control text and the way text looks in a document. In the next segment, we're going to have a look at how we can change the look of paragraphs within a document. Okay, so we've had a look at how we change text and change the formatting of text. Let's now have a look at how we change the formatting of whole paragraphs. Now for this, in the Chapter 3 folder of the practice files, you'll want the information start file, which you can see here. Now, you'll see here that I've turned the rulers on this document. You do this under the View tab by putting a tick in the ruler box here. Now, let's have a look at how we can use the ruler to change our document. Well, we've got little arrows and little boxes here on the ruler along the top. We have a right indent here, first line indent, a hanging indent, and the left indent. And we can drag these around. If you have your text at the beginning of, say, this first paragraph, we can drag these around to move these indents to where we want them. You'll see they're easy to drag and drop, and you can do this with individual paragraphs, or if you want to, entire blocks of text by selecting those blocks. In the top left, there are different options for inserting tab points as well. Now, by default, Word 2010 will insert a tab point every half an inch, and you can see them here. But there are other types of tab that you can insert, and you can put them wherever you want. There's a left tab, there's a center tab, there's a right tab, there's a decimal tab, which is where you can center numbers with a decimal point. You've got a bar tab here, where Word will draw a vertical line at the position of the tab stop, and we have other controls here for indents and so on. So let's say we want to insert a decimal tab here, so we can drag that onto, click on decimal tab, and wherever we want on the ruler we can place it, and we can drag it to where we want it. Okay, so if we want a bar tab here, click on bar tab, and at say 10 inches there we've got a bar tab, and we can see that that bar's been put in, and we can move that bar. This can be very useful for let's say separating a document into columns, which is something we'll look at in a forthcoming segment. There are options here to turn the ruler on and off. You'll see just above the scroll bar on the right hand side, you can turn the ruler on and off there. And then we have the main paragraph options here in the text. Now we'll undo these last changes we've made. There you go, get rid of those. Okay, so we want to change the look of this paragraph. Let's say we want to get this kitchen section, and we want to make it a bulleted or numbered list. So we'll highlight that, and here in the paragraph section we have bullet options with a little arrow so that we can select the different type of bullet, and you can see that it's changing there as we hover over. We also have numbered lists here that we can choose between various types, and we have mixed lists here which won't change as we hover over, but you can see that there are a great many different types of list here. So let's say we want a bulleted list, so we'll select this one here, the hollow dot, and that has now changed. There are other options here for being able to increase and decrease the indent of paragraphs, being able to sort text in paragraphs. This is an interesting button here to be able to show and hide paragraph marks. Many people find paragraph marks very useful, and clicking on this button you'll be able to see where they are and turn them off again in the same way. We can also adjust the alignment of text. Let's say we want to select this paragraph. We have left, center, right and full justification, and if we select full justification we'll see there the difference between left and full justification. If we click anywhere on this header we can make this centered. We can also adjust the line spacing of the text that we have selected. We can select a theme background color, which is similar to the highlight color that we saw previously, but there are more options and there's more control over it. And what's more, we can add borders to text as well. So we can see what would happen here if we add an outside border, for instance. We now have a header box. In the borders option there are other options here. Down at the bottom, if we click on borders and shading, we have yet more control. We can add page borders so we can have a box or perhaps a shadow around the entire page. You'll see there. And there are shading options as well here, and we can shade with patterns and have all sorts of fill colours, and we can have a great deal of control here over what we want to put borders and shadings around, what colours they are, the line width, and what those styles are applied to. And you can have a lot of fun making documents much easier to see. Again, in the paragraph section in the bottom right, there's a little down arrow to bring up more paragraph options here. We've got full control of tabs there, and we've got controls here on indents, spacing. We can turn off widow and orphan control, which if we want to, widow and orphan control helps prevent words being broken up if they would run over the end of a line. And there are a great many other options, and you also have a preview window down here that will let you know how that text will look. So there are a great many options here for changing the look and feel of paragraphs. Now, in the next segment of this section, we're going to look at more about creating and modifying lists. Okay, so I talked a little about bulleted and numbered lists in the last segment, so let's have a look at it in more detail. And for this exercise, we're going to want the rules draft document, which is in the chapter 3 folder. Now, when we're working with this document, we'll focus on the bulleted numbered lists and the multi-level list features here on the ribbon under the Home tab. Now, in this first section here, this text is telling us these rules for this building association fall into 4 categories. And here is the text for those 4 categories that I'll highlight there. Now, we want to be able to change these to different types of lists. So, the options open to us. We could change it to a standard bulleted list, or we can choose other bullets, and you'll see it changing here. Or, as it's talking about 4 categories, we might be best using a numbered list here. So let's pick the standard numbered list, and we can just click on that and we can see that it's changed straight away. If we wanted to add more, then we simply move the cursor to the end of that list. You'll see the blinking cursor here at the end of Declaration of Bylaws. Press the Enter key and it will move on to another. Now, let's say we want to have a 4A. We've still got 4 categories, but we have a 4A. If we press the Tab button, then we'll see that it's now moved on to a different level. So we can type some extra text here saying this rule only applies under certain circumstances. But let's say we don't want this bullet dot here, we want 4A or a different number. So we'll highlight the text again and we can select a different type of list, and we can immediately see here the effect that it will have. This one will give us 4A, or we can choose the multi-level list options and we can pick one here that perhaps we'll like more. Let's say we want this one. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4.1. So there are a great many different types of list option that you can use. Okay, so let's move down to the general rules section. So each one of these rules is going to need to be bulleted. So we'll highlight all of that text, make sure we've got it all. Yep, absolutely. And now we can select what type of formatting in a list we want this to have. Do we want an arrow? Do we want a little coloured symbol? Square bullet? Do we want to have numbers for the rules or letters? And so on. Do we want to have other options? So we'll stick with the standard round bullet, and we can see here that we've now changed this into a definite list, and it makes it much easier to read what we're doing on the text. In the paragraph options here as well, if we select this text again, click on that, then we have yet more options. If we want to, we can change the line spacing, make it 1.5 lines, and you'll see, if you look in the preview window at the bottom of this, we can see the effect it's going to have. So we'll press OK, and we can now see that those rules are now much easier to read, although they have just moved over onto the next page. So there are other options here as well. If we go into the advanced paragraph options, we can change that to take it down ever so slightly, and we can modify it ourselves. Do you see here what we're doing? And we can change that, and we have a great deal of control over the type of formatting that we want for that document. We can also sort text here if we select this text as well. Remember, I mentioned previously we have a sort option, and if we click on that, we can sort the text in different ways, ascending or descending. So if we click on OK, then we can see that it's sorted these 4 items into alphabetical order, switched over the first 2. We'll undo it so you can see what that was like before. Restatements at the beginning, then clarifications. Press the sorted by alphabetical order into ascending order, and we can sort that text there and put it alphabetically. So that's all it for this section. In the next section, we're going to look at organising information into columns and tables.